Hi, folks. This is Steve Cohen. In the last couple of months, I've addressed the City Council and specifically Mayor Ellen Zappo. And I'd like to tell you why. Now, Ellen and I are about the same age. She was class of 86. I was class of 85. She went to St. Paul's. I went to Eastern. Now, we had some mutual friends in high school, but I didn't know her. I had heard about her and I knew of her, but I didn't know her. And I didn't get to know her until I was in my 20s. She lived up on Federal Hill, as I do, and I met her probably about 1996. And to be honest, I had heard a lot of negative things about her. She's a bitch, she's this, she's that, and I didn't like that because I got the impression that, well, maybe it's because she's an independent woman. And my grandmother was a very independent woman, and so was my mother. So I kind of took umbrage with that, and I didn't like that. So I didn't believe the stories, and I became friends with her over time. And I'm not saying we were close friends, certainly not, but I liked her. And we have a lot of things in common and kind of have similar personalities in certain ways. She's a control freak. I'm a control freak. So I understood her anyway. And I really felt she believed in Bristol and certainly Federal Hill. And that's why I always supported her. Now, in the interest of full disclosure, I'm a registered Republican. I've always voted conservatively, but I have voted for Democrats in the past. A lot of your hardcore Democrats, they would never vote for a Republican, even if their lives depended on it. But I have voted for Democrats, and I supported Ellen, even though I couldn't vote for her when she was councilwoman, because even though we both live on Federal Hill has a district line running through it, and I couldn't vote for her. She was in a different district. But I always supported her. As a Republican, I went to her fundraisers. I supported her publicly for a very long time. And the reason I did that is because I really felt she believed in Federal Hill. We had not had a council person representing District 3 or District 2, actually. I think she was District 2, since Ann Degnan, way back in 1981. Great woman. So Federal Hill really had no voice. So I supported her. And I got a lot of grief for that because she wasn't well liked in town, not just by Republicans, but a lot of people didn't like her. She came across as very abrasive, and she came across as someone who looked down on other people, looked down her nose at other people, conceited, arrogant, whatever you want to call it. I didn't see her that way. Maybe a little bit, but not that bad. I didn't take her that way. I felt I understood her. So I supported her. But I also knew that she wanted to be mayor badly. And that's what happened. She became mayor in 2017. She has served almost 2 terms now. And I supported Ellen. And like I said, I took a lot of grief over it. Some people wouldn't even speak to me because I supported her. Now, let's be honest. The only reason she got into office in 2017 is because, well, there were some problems in that administration. There were some issues there. So she got in. I have to tell you why I have come out publicly against her. There's too many stories, folks, and they can't all be rumors, and they're not, because I have verified some of these stories. Now, as much as she has friends in the media, as most Democrats do, and she certainly has friends down at the Bristol Press, the Bristol Press will not publish an article that paints her in any way negatively. They won't. And that's sad. The thing you have to understand about Ellen, my friends, is she intimidates people. I don't really know why. I'm not afraid of her. And that's why I went to the council meeting in September and October. I've had it with her. I've had it. She's corrupt, folks. She's corrupt. She's vindictive. And she's dangerous. She's dangerous to our city. She's sexist. She cannot take direction. Well, first of all, she can't take direction from anyone because she's always got to be in charge. But she had problems with previous mayors as councilwoman. Why? Because she can't take direction from people. She just can't. She can't take direction. She can't take criticism. She can't take discipline. Certainly not from a man. Now, I happen to know for a fact that 2 mayors, one Republican and one Democrat, threw her out of their offices in City Hall because of her temper tantrums and her outrageous behavior. I know that for a fact. But why are you wondering why would I come out against her now? There's quite a few reasons. Now, as I said, I supported this woman for a very long time. As a conservative Republican, I supported her. And I think she was a good council person, to be fair. Now, I heard a couple stories that were a little iffy. I think she was brought up before the Ethics Commission a couple of times. I know that happened in the 90s when she was running for state rep. I was actually at that hearing. But, you know, as I said, I looked the other way for a long time because I thought she would be good. And I think she was a good council person. Like I said, there were some stories there, but I think she did a good job overall. But she's not a good mayor, folks. She's not. She's got to go. Now, a lot has happened over the past just 6 months. Now, her son, back in June of 2020, allegedly was involved in bus vandalism here in Bristol, where some buses were vandalized and thousands of dollars of damage was caused. Now, those of you that have lived in Bristol a long time, you know that Bristol is a small town. It really is. I'm 4th generation here. I understand. It's a city, but it really is a small town and everybody talks. Everybody talks here in town. Now, there were rumors floating around that her youngest son, Carson, rumors were floating around town, and this is the way I heard it. And I heard this from several sources. I have not been able to verify that this actually happened, but I'll just tell you, you probably heard this story too. Rumors were floating around town that 3 boys, teenagers, 18-year-olds, 17-year-olds, whatever they were, I'm not really sure. I think they were all 18, were vandalizing buses. Caused, apparently at first estimate, $100,000 of damage. It turns out it wasn't really that bad, but still tens of thousands of dollars in damage to some school buses. Now, the rumor that was going around town is that 2 of the boys were arrested, and Carson, Ellen's son, was given a ride home, and no charges were filed. Now, I'm not sure I don't think that's exactly what happened. From the way I understand it, there was an investigation. Ellen denied backwards and forwards, up and down, that her son was even there, wasn't involved, don't know what you're talking about. Well, it turns out he was there. Video, of course, everything's on video today. And video emerged, and her son was certainly there. And of course, the video is not perfect. It's not a perfect science. It's not going to get every angle. It's not going to, it's not the way it works. You can't have cameras at every angle. So you couldn't actually see the vandalism being done. So her argument then changed from that he wasn't there, Then we find out he was. Okay. We find out he was there, but he didn't do anything. The other boys did. Now, interestingly, some of these buses were tagged. I guess Carson's got a nickname, and the buses were tagged with his nickname. Now, that's just asinine right there. But listen, I'm not blaming her for the actions of her son. So let's get that right. I'm not doing that. The best of families can have rotten kids, murderers, crazy people. This is not a reflection on her or her husband. It's not. What's a reflection on her is that she tried to cover it up. Okay. Now, the word on the street is also that he allegedly, that the parents paid off the bus company for the damages, so to kind of sweep it under the rug. Now, apparently, I know this, I've heard this from several sources, and I believe this to be true. When the Bristol police attempted to investigate Carson, Ellen's son, the police officer was actually on the way over and got a call over the radio and said, turn around, you're not to talk to this kid. That's corruption, folks. Now, apparently, the state assistant district attorney's office got involved. Ellen apparently has claimed that in the interest of transparency, that she contacted the assistant district attorney's office to investigate. Okay. Now here's where it gets a little gooey. The assistant district attorney is related to Councilman David Perleski, a Democrat. You see where I'm going with this? It's not good, folks. It's not good, folks. So the investigation was concluded in April of this year, and that's as far as it went. Now, what's interesting is Ellen has got the Bristol Press so intimidated that they will not report a story that paints her in a negative light. So if you Google this whole incident, the only story that I could get to come up was an article from last year where Ellen is responding to the barrage of negative criticism that she received on social media. Okay? That's it. Now, I believe the Bristol Press did report at least one other story about it, but it's taken down now. You can't see it. Okay? The Bristol Press, folks, is covering for this woman, and I don't know why, but they are. That's corruption too. All right? It's disgusting what's going on here. Absolutely disgusting. Last month, the Bristol Press did an online poll for mayoral candidates. Jeff Caggiano, the Republican, and Ellen Zappo. And it was lopsided. It was like, I think it was 62-38 in favor of Jeff Caggiano. You can't even search that now. You go on the Bristol Press, search it, you can't even find it. They took it down. As soon as it was so lopsided and the poll was done, it vanished. Okay? And this is what I am telling you. I know some people in City Hall. The atmosphere down there is absolutely toxic. That letter that I read in October at the city council meeting, it's disgusting what's going on down there. Everybody got big raises. All the department heads have been getting big raises under her. And all the little people she intimidates. So she pays off the department heads 5, 6, 7, 8% raises in a pandemic, raises taxes during none of the other towns around us did this. None. But Bristol did until this year. She kept taxes flat. No tax increases. Why? Because it's an election year. And she got big money from the state, which was federal money, as we go further into debt and down the toilet. Okay. Her son Carson's allegedly been caught with weed when he was in high school. Everybody else that gets caught with weed is suspended. Her son didn't get suspended. I've got that on a very good source, folks. And I believe it to be true. She's corrupt. Okay. Now, you've got this whole situation with the fire chief. So let me explain what's going on here. The fire chief's position has been vacant. Now, apparently the assistant or deputy fire chief, I don't know, I guess he's not interested in the position. So they've been trying to hire someone. Okay. Now, I don't see why they just can't promote from within, but Ellen wants a minority, and particularly would want a minority female. That's why the position's been open for 10 months. So she's acting fire chief. Now, there's another rumor going around, and let's face it, these are rumors, and this is not true. There's a rumor going around town that since Ellen is acting fire chief, because we don't have one, that she's collecting 2 salaries. That's not true, folks. That's ridiculous. There have been many instances where the mayor needs to be acting whatever department head when there's a vacancy like that. There's administrative things that need to be done. There needs to be an acting fire chief at all times, and other departments too. So let's put that one to bed. Okay. But anyway, so that's why the fire chief's position has been open for 10 plus months. Now, here's another rumor. Another rumor is that she's been driving around the fire chief's truck because one of her children wrecked her car. I don't know if that's true, and I don't even care, but she is driving around the fire chief's truck. Okay. That you can see any day you want. Okay. So as far as why she's doing it, I don't know. But Ellen has no training and no experience as an EMT or any type of first responder, a fireman. She has no medical training whatsoever. She has no business responding to accidents, but that's what she's been doing. Now, recently, there was a very serious accident in which a person had to be life-starred, and she was riding around the fire chief's truck, as she seems to like to do, with Councilwoman Brittany Barney. Now, this is true, and this has been documented, and Channel 3 is working on a story about that right now. I'll tell you more about that in a few minutes. So they responded to this accident, and, I don't know if Brittany was, Brittany's like 24 or 5, I don't know, and she was fooling with the radio or fooling around. I don't know what she was doing, but somehow, some way, she managed to key the microphone. So for approximately 3.5 minutes, they could not communicate on the emergency frequency via the radio frequency. They could not communicate when here you've got a person that's, sorry, another sneeze, that could realistically die, and they're trying to communicate and trying to coordinate with Lifestar and so on. Okay. And she blocked the airwaves, whether it was intentionally or unintentionally. I'm sure it was unintentionally, but she had no business riding around in the fire chief's truck responding to accidents. What are you, 5? What are you doing? What do you think this is? This is what's going on here, folks. It's disgusting. And we've just seen the tip of the iceberg. These people have been on a free ride, the Democrats. They've been on a free ride. There's no dissenting voices anymore. They're all Democrats on the council, and that's bad. And I would say the same thing if it were Republicans. That's total power. That's bad. That's not what this country is all about, or supposed to be all about. Do me a favor. If you haven't, even if you haven't ever voted in a municipal election, and I've talked to a number of friends of mine, some of them I haven't spoken to in years, just, life goes on. I contacted them. Are you registered to vote? Yes. You ever voted in this municipal election? Oh, yeah, 30 years ago or never. Well, they're going on Tuesday. We need to vote these people out. We need to vote these people out. It's ridiculous. Raising taxes during a pandemic, department heads getting big raises. What's going on here? People riding around in the fire chief's truck, blocking emergency calls. Okay. Let me tell you about what happened a few days ago, this past week. So one of the council candidates in District 3, his name is Andrew Howe. Okay. He contacted WFSB Channel 3, told them what was going on, has some recorded evidence about this whole thing with the fire chief and Brittany fooling around with the radio. I don't know, maybe she thought she was trying to do a TikTok video or something. I don't know. Anyway, so he contacted Channel 3, a reporter came down, they were doing a story, and I guess they went to talk to the mayor first at City Hall, and then we're going to head over to Andrew Howe's home. Apparently, and this has been documented, she got in her car and followed the Channel 3 car over to Andrew Howe's house. And whilst he was being interviewed by Channel 3, she's driving by like 5 miles an hour back and forth like a lunatic. You know? So apparently she got on the phone and threatened the news director, threatened the general manager of the station. I'll sue, ba-ba-da-bee-ba-ba. So who knows if we're even going to see that Channel 3 story. Corruption, folks. Now, just so you know, Republicans can't get away with that. No. There's some bad story that's going to air about a Republican that you can stand on your head and light yourself on fire. They're going to air it. Okay. But Democrats, it's a whole different story. I hate to say that for those of you that are Democrats out there, but that's the way it works. Okay. So who knows if we're going to see that story? We won't see anything negative about her in the Bristol Press, so don't look for it there. Okay. Is this the kind of government you want in Bristol? Okay. There have been 3 shootings in Bristol. No one was injured in a couple of them. I don't think anybody was injured in a couple of them. One of them there was. But shootings in Bristol? I'm not going to tolerate that. And you shouldn't either. Why is this happening? Why? Now, to be fair, crime has gone up all over the place since the pandemic. I mean, for God's sake, there was a stabbing at the Apple Harvest Festival in Southington last month. There was a woman abducted in broad daylight in Marlborough, of all places. So crime, to be fair to her, crime has gone up all over the place, particularly in Democrat-run cities, but it has gone up all over the place. Okay? But she is handcuffing the police in this town. She's issued all sorts of insane directives. You don't see, and part of this is coming from state regulators, so it's not all on her. The Democrats have been running the state of Connecticut since 1970, right into a toilet, right down the tubes. Okay? So they've issued all these, they've passed all this legislation where they're handcuffing the police. Police can't do this, police can't do that, which is nonsense. But she's taking it a step further. She's micromanaging the police. We can't have this. We can't have this. This is insane. The police have to be able to do their job. They're the last line of defense between you and I and total anarchy. And they have a very difficult job. And we've got some fantastic police officers. We're so lucky. We've got some fantastic police officers in this town. Make no mistake. Great men and women. We should be so proud of them. But we can't deny them the ability to do their jobs, or you're going to continue to have crap like this going on. They have to be able to do traffic stops, folks. Traffic stops are an important tool for the police. They look for a taillight out or somebody making a turn without a signal, stuff like that. You know how many drugs have been confiscated just from traffic stops? You know how many crimes have been stopped because of traffic stops? I mean, this is ridiculous. She's micromanaging the police. She's micromanaging the fire department. She's micromanaging everything. Okay? Now, I must tell you something. One thing I've learned about Ellen over the years, and like I said, I supported her for a very long time. This is not a political thing. She has become corrupt. This job has gone to her head, and she needs to get out now. She's dangerous, folks. And I don't like saying this. I don't like sitting here having to do this. But I have no choice. She's corrupt and she must go. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Okay. Now, I'd like to wrap this up. I'm sorry it's very long, but I had to get these things out. But just 3 more quick points I want to make. I am taking a very big chance speaking out against her publicly because she will come after me. She's very vindictive. I know her like a book. She's going to come after me if she gets reelected. Oh, she won't do it herself. Oh, no. She'll send one of her department heads that got big raises. She'll send somebody over here. Who knows? The water department. I don't know. Building department. I have no idea. She'll say my sidewalks are cracked or something. Who knows? I don't care. I really don't care. Number 2, earlier I referred to her as being sexist. She really is. She really has a problem with men. And just an example, take a look at this sign. Now, she's got these posted several areas around town, and she did this in the last election cycle. She doesn't do this with anybody else. There are some group photos with all of the Democrat council candidates and other people running for office. But this photo with her, with Councilwoman Mary Fortier and Brittany Barney are in several areas around town. Just the women. Interesting. Now, don't think I have a problem with women because I don't. In fact, on the Republican slate this year, of the 6 council candidates, 4 of them are women. Okay? 4 of them are very capable women. But to isolate the women and post them in photos around town, that's sexist. I'm sorry, it is. And lastly, I'm going to tell you something else about how bad Ellen is, if you don't want to take my word for it. Take the word of a former mayor and a former lifelong Democrat. Former Mayor Art Ward has come out publicly against her and joined the Republican Party. Now, that wasn't the only reason, but that's how toxic the environment has become. I don't think that's ever happened in Bristol's history. I could not find any evidence of that anywhere where a retired mayor has come out publicly against an administration of his own party and then switch sides. I could not find that anywhere in Bristol's history. And we've had a city council form of government in Bristol since 1911. 110 years. I couldn't find that anywhere. So that's where we are, folks. Now, I know some people wanted a little song, so that's no problem. I don't have the best singing voice, but let's end it up with a little song, okay? How about Ellen is corrupt, Ellen is corrupt, hope the heck you never come back, Ellen is corrupt. Everybody! Ellen is corrupt, Ellen is corrupt, hope the heck you never come back, Ellen is corrupt. Oh,